All right, we're at a minute past, so we'll get started. I'm sure there'll be some stragglers come along as well. Thanks so much for joining. This is a Pure IP webinar, and we're focused on Teams Phone and Copilot, and talking in generally as well about AI, even beyond Copilot. Our special guest, Alev, is here, and she's doing all the hard work. I'm just, going to push next, and listen, basically. Alev, do you just want to introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time for today. My name is Alev Tamer. I am a senior Copilot technical specialist based in the UK, aligned with industrial and pharmaceutical customers. Sometimes if you join to the conferences, you can see me wearing jet pilot costume with my partner in crime, Chris Wheeler. But today I'm here by myself and
Yeah,
happy to
pressure's on.
talk
You
about
haven't got
Copilot and AI.
your Copilot.
No, not today.
Awesome. Excited to have you on, so thanks for joining.
Thanks, Tom.
Today we're going to aim for about 40 minutes or so, and we've got the Q&A running, so feel free to fire in questions as we go as well. We're going to quick level set on Teams Phone, what it is, how it works, just for anybody that's not super familiar, and also some recent announcements on Teams Phone. Then we're going to get into the AI and Copilot story, and it's deliberately the AI and Copilot story because there are some AI capabilities in Teams Core. There are more if you overlay Premium, and then there are even more and even better capability if you overlay Microsoft 365 Copilot. So we're going to take you through that journey of kind of what you get straight out of the box, what you get if you add Premium, and what you get if you add Copilot. So first off, Teams Phone level set. So Alev, keep me honest if any of this is new or changed, but Teams Phone Standard is the license for Teams to be your phone system, and that is included in E5 if you're an E5 customer. Otherwise, it's an add-on to your other M365, O365 plans, and that's $8 per user per month list. There is a special SKU for frontline workers. So if you've got users, who are using the F licenses, you can add phone for only $4 per user per month. That's a relatively recent change. Of course, with Teams Phone, we've got soft clients. We've got the Windows, the Mac, the mobile clients, web clients. But we've also got physical phones, both Teams phones, and we can add SIP phones. There's a special license for common area phones. So think, phone sitting in a meeting room or phone sitting in a reception area, that kind of thing. And all of that is the basis of Teams and Teams Phone. And then, as we'll talk in this webinar, you can overlay Premium, which adds a whole host of features, including some AI ones, but also some fancy webinar features, some security features, Queues app, which we will talk about. And then for the ultimate experience in terms of AI across the whole of Microsoft 365, that is Microsoft 365 Copilot. And that's part of what gives you Copilot in Teams Phone.
One thing I might add, so if
Please.
you're a customer who has enterprise agreement with Microsoft specifically, you can ask for different discounts and promotions within Teams Premium. And depending on the number, you might actually get some discounts for Copilot for Microsoft 365. So currently Teams Premium, you can get it in introduction price, which is $7 per user per month.
So now is a good time to be looking at it if you're not already. So you get your Teams Phone on Teams, but you then have to add phone lines and phone numbers, or PSTN, Public Switch Telephony Network connectivity. We won't go in great detail. We've done whole webinars on this, and if you want more details, we can definitely share it. But high level, you can buy calling plans directly from Microsoft. So Microsoft give you your minutes and your numbers, or you can have Operator Connect, and that's where a set number of operators have certified with Microsoft and interconnected on the back end. And it means that Microsoft have checked the operator in terms of trusting them to connect directly to Teams. You sign up with the operator, they can then provision numbers directly into Microsoft Teams. So it's cloud to cloud, and Pure IP have been on that program since day one, offering many countries all around the world directly cloud to cloud. We've got the classic direct routing, still very popular, and that's where you have either cloud session border controllers run by third parties. Again, Pure IP can run these in the cloud, or on-premises SBC, so physical boxes. There are many countries around the world where you still need a physical box, and those connect your phone operator to Teams. And the newest option kind of on the block relatively is Teams Phone Mobile. And that is where you work with a cellular carrier and they can provision numbers that are both your cell or mobile number and your Teams number. This is relatively new compared to the other options. It's been around for about a year and a bit now. In the UK, for those joining over here, it's BT primarily at the moment. There are more operators coming, and you can see the other countries around the world there. But that is exclusive to those operators, so you'd have to be working with those operators specifically.
And as always, it's not, sorry Tom, it's not one size to fit them all. So depending on the organizational needs, you can also use Operator Connect as well as the direct routing at the same time. So it's only depending on you. But because of the sustainability goals and everybody is trying to reduce the on-premises and legacy hardware environments and just trying to migrate to cloud nowadays.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And as you say, you can mix and match on a per user basis, and everything we're going to talk about in terms of user functionality in this webinar, all the AI capabilities work across all these different connectivity types. So it might be you've got some users in Canada who want to use Teams Phone Mobile. You've got some users in a country that needs direct routing. You've got some users in Operator Connect. You can absolutely mix and match all of these. And again, if you want to get into the weeds on that, that's what Pure IP do all day, every day. We can definitely go into the detail on that. Another piece of the phone story that I think is really important is Microsoft relatively recently, at the start of this year, Enterprise Connect time, updated the financially backed SLA for Teams Phone, Teams Calling and audio conferencing to 5 nines. So that's a really high service availability, financially backed SLA for the service. But also you can have what's called survival branch appliances, and those are physical boxes that sit on site that allow your phone to keep working in the event that internet goes down. And there's been some real effort to put additional features and capabilities into those survival branch appliances, including announced just Friday, the ability to have 7 days resiliency in the event of internet outage. So the survivability story and the resiliency story is pretty strong as far as a cloud phone service goes. I think 5 nines is pretty much top of the industry as far as availability goes. It doesn't stop there for Teams Phone, so you can then add compliance recording as well. And again, Pure IP work with various partners here, and these are services that again can be cloud to cloud, and they take a compliance recording. So Teams has convenience recording where you press record yourself in Teams, but this is the scenario where I need to have an independent recording that happens whatever the user does, typically FinServ, legal, but can be any vertical really. And then also part of the Teams voice story is contact center. So again, Microsoft have a whole ecosystem of providers that have certified to work tightly with Teams. There are various different options and various different pros and cons, but these can literally tie into Teams and use those same PSTN, those same phone connectivity capabilities. So you can route numbers through Operator Connect to your contact center, have your contact center experience be tightly integrated into the Teams user experience, and really bring that together for the users. And then hot off the press as well, Alev, do you want to take the Qs app?
Of course. We recently announced Qs app has generally public preview, and you can click the link to see the announcement. So we always some of our customers are using call queues and auto attendance already within Microsoft Teams capabilities, but Qs app will be available via app to easily manage workloads, supervise the queues, and train the agents. You'll be able to improve the team performance, and some of the features are still in the roadmap, like Whisper Barge. You'll be able to have the monitor and take over capabilities. So this is not like a whole product, but this will give the capabilities to ease some of the day-to-day pains. You'll be able to use Copilot in Teams Phone with Cues app to automatically capture key information during or after the call. Because I am not sure, Tom, if you've faced with this challenge, but when you contact with contact centers, and if you are speaking English as your second language, is sometimes not very easy for the contact center colleagues to listen to the customer as well as taking the notes at the same time. So this will give them the opportunity to actually focus on the customer's needs and ask and understand it very well. And you'll be also able to monitor call volume on customer care quality with real-time and historical reporting. So and Cues app will be a part of Teams Premium license.
Yeah, so this is tying the story together again. This is part of Teams Premium, so it comes as part of Teams Premium and everything you see in Copilot, because essentially Cues app is using call queues. It will work from a Copilot perspective, which is really nice. Okay, so that is under 10 minutes. We went through the kind of basics of Teams Phone. So thanks for bearing with us. Some of the people on here who I know Teams Phone inside out, I can see the names. Now let's get into the AI and Copilot story. So hopefully we can decode this, because there's a lot of marketing around this, and I've tried to strip out some of the marketing, and we'll talk about, to kind of level set, things that are in Teams Core. So in all the SKUs, you don't need any special add-ons. Things that are in Teams Premium, where it starts to get a bit more flash, and then again where you overlay the full Microsoft 365 Copilot experience.
And that's a great starting point. So we are actually using AI for years within Microsoft Teams now. It's not just a new technology when we start announcing Copilot capabilities or Teams Premium capabilities. If you ever used background, this means that you are actually using something within core values available thanks to machine learning and AI. The voice isolation, I love playing this video because I can see some of my friends like Christian Schachs, who is actually a program manager working to make this possible. We are actually using AI to do the voice isolation. This means that AI will understand your voice, recognize your voice, and will block everything in your background. Yes, we went to just remote working or full virtual working when pandemic hit, and now we are trying to come back to a different kind of hybrid working rules. So voice isolation is available, and please make sure that you use if you are working in a coffee shop or if you are working in an open office. And we have a video.
Yeah, let's show the video of how it works. This is a really nice feature.
Today, work can happen anywhere. Microsoft Teams empowers you to stay connected wherever you are.
Oh, sorry, I know it's pretty loud in here.
So we need to get ready for this product launch. There are several milestones that we...
Thanks everyone for all your great input connecting at the airport.
Thank you so much, John, for putting in the slides.
Microsoft Teams voice isolation distinguishes your voice from others, so you're heard clearly in calls and meetings.
I was just asking you how your weekend was.
They're aware of the delivery timelines and that they agree to deliver on time.
And I'm really looking forward to this partnership. It will be amazing for us and the company.
John, for putting in the slides last night. They're looking really great. I'm looking forward to sharing this with our leaders.
Be heard anywhere with voice isolation in Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, so
Today,
as Alev said there, that's included in Teams Core. It's a good example of AI being used. You train Teams on your particular voice. So right now, your admins need to enable that at the Teams tenant or the Microsoft 365 tenant level, and then the individual users individually opt into training on their voice. So definitely worth enabling that and doing some user comms around it. As of January, that switch will flip at the tenant level to on by default. You can still turn it off as an admin if you want. So that will unblock it for a whole bunch of people who haven't found time to flick the switch as well. So Now we're going to talk about some things that are slightly more advanced. So they're in premium. And the first one is intelligent meeting recap. So Alev, do you want to take this?
Of course. So Intelligence Meeting Recap is available if you have Teams Premium as well as Copilot for Microsoft 365 licensing. We introduce a new tab in the meeting called Recap, and everyone will be switching to Recap as soon as it's available. When you turn on the recording and the transcription, you'll have a really advanced view with the intelligent recap, which means that you'll have generated automatically generated AI notes and tasks. It will be captured through transcription, as well as a really, really intelligent recording, which has timeline markings. So you'll be able to see if you joined the meeting late, if someone has mentioned you, if someone shared a content, or if you left the conversation or the meeting before it ended. You'll be able to see and navigate through chapters, and AI will capture either within the agenda or when you change the topic throughout the meeting. So this actually gives us really good time savings, because sometimes we have our all hands, and sometimes the modern work part is only 15 minutes. So if I miss that meeting, if I watch that 15 minutes, I save actually 45 minutes.
Yeah, and that's also now in calls, which is really exciting and
Yes.
brings it back to this. So previously, Intelligent Recap was just for pre-scheduled meetings. Now it is for ad hoc calls, so VoIP calls, i.e. you're in chat and you escalate to a call, meet nows, and also PSTN calls as well. And this is, again, not requiring the Copilot license, just Teams Premium. Although if you do buy Copilot, you get this capability as well. And as Alev said there, it's not a case of writing prompts. This is generating for you. So you just hit record and or transcribe. And at the end of the session, this will automatically be generated for you.
Sometimes we have 2 days long of workshops with different business units within a customer with different topics. And I usually use Intelligent Recap AI notes instead of using Copilot, because think about, you'll have everything in one screen, including all the documentations shared within 2 days, as well as different part of the recording. So Copilot is not capable of understanding of the parts which is recording in different timeline, but Intelligent Recap is. So we are getting asked by, oh, why do I need Intelligent Recap and Copilot at the same time? This is why. I've been asked to provide meeting notes for that 2 days, and it took me 8 minutes to send it over. I used Copilot to create a table of the attendees from the customer side, Microsoft side, create name, surname, job role, and the title, and it's there.
Yeah, it really is a better together story. And this is a great way to onboard your users to an AI use case as well, because they're not having to prompt. So if they're a little bit more nervous or there's a bit more adoption curve, this is just going to appear for them at the end of the meeting or the end of the call. And actually, it's a great way I've found to get people into, oh, I see value here. But to Alev's point there, I want to do a little bit more. Can you give me it in bullets? Can you do this thing, that thing? That's where Copilot comes into play when you're prompting and you're interacting. That's the big difference. So that brings us nicely to Copilot in Teams. So as a reminder, Microsoft sell Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is the correct name now, as a kind of suite of capabilities across the whole of Microsoft 365. So we're zeroing in on the Teams use cases here, and even more specifically Teams Phone. But there's a whole lot of value here across Outlook, Word, Excel. There's tons of features. We're zeroing in on Teams. So we are going to talk about Teams Phone, but just to level set with Copilot in Teams, this is across chat, meetings, and phone. in chat, this is private chat and channel chat. So you can now prompt and interact. So think about scenarios like you're working with a multinational team, you log on your morning, there's been hundreds of messages, you want a summary of what's gone on in that thread, that kind of scenario. Alev, any specific scenarios you think about when you're thinking about Copilot and chat and channels?
It's great to use after you came back from 2 weeks of vacation. You can actually ask it to just, I'm working for Microsoft almost 10 years now, and when I come back, I see hundreds of notifications in Teams, and it's really great to just catch up with Copilot or list the, just summarize the last 14 days or 7 days.
Yep, and Copilot can reach across all the chat and channels that you're allowed access to. So you don't have to go into each one necessarily summarize, I want this conversation. To Alev's use case, you can say, what was important for me in those communications over the last 2 weeks? And it can summarize across multiple, which is really nice.
And also you can ask it, do I have any follow-up tasks? Will you please list me 5 questions during the follow-up meeting?
so I can point out that I paid attention.
But the great thing is the citations. We are trying to make citations available throughout the different Microsoft 365 applications where I can actually see the reference and then I can just click and go to that chat. And if I need to reply back, it's in seconds.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Those are super, super useful because they're jumping you straight to where that information was summarized from. So if you see a point and you're like, I don't quite understand that, or that doesn't seem right, I can jump to it and get the wider context of that particular message. That's really useful. So that's your chat. Meetings. So we've already shown you there's basic recap and then there's intelligent recap in meetings. Again, that is auto-generated by Microsoft. You can't interact with that. What Copilot adds here is the ability to engage with the meeting live with Copilot. So the meeting's ticking along. I may or may not be paying attention. Oh, I've drifted off. I need a summary of what was said recently or what's been said so far. I can prompt and engage with the meeting in real time, as well as prompting and engaging with the meeting content post-meeting.
If you want. There's a whole transcription management white paper we published recently. So depending on the need, you can turn on, turn off Copilot whenever you want during the meeting or after the meeting as well. But yes,
yeah, and that's a really good point. It used to be you had to record the meeting and therefore transcribe the meeting. Now you can just transcribe. So if you're an organization who doesn't want to record, you can just transcribe. You can even go more extreme than that and you can say, we don't want to keep transcriptions beyond the session of the meeting. So this is quite hardcore in terms of compliance, but we just want the ability to use Copilot during the meeting and not keep the transcription. And you can control the transcription retention anywhere between those two as well. Microsoft have done a lot of work on recording and transcription to make sure it can be turned on in as many scenarios as possible and it meets all the regulatory and compliance standards that various industries have as well.
That's correct.
And then we'll get on to Teams Phone, kind of the star of our show. Oh, sorry, there's a video here of end of meeting transcription. Let's have a quick look at this. I don't know if this one's got audio. Let's have a look. I think this might just be a walkthrough. So this is an example where it's post-meeting. So you can see we've got our recap there. And you can see, Alev mentioned earlier, the intelligent recap has who spoke when and an automated summary. But someone's using Copilot here to dig in further to say, you know, what do they want to know specifically? Do they want a different format? Do they just want the top 5 takeaways from the meeting? So this is where it's that better together story of I've got intelligent meeting recap and I've got Copilot as well.
So what's coming in the roadmap? I'm sure, Tom, you watched our Wave 2 announcements, and we actually announced using GPT-4 IO as the latest and the greatest model. So soon you'll be able to use Copilot when you share a PowerPoint and you'll be asking about the shared content. So let's say that you have a PowerPoint filled with too many just typed materials. You'll be asking Copilot, summarize this slide. And
Oh, that's
because
amazing.
GPT-4 will be able to understand from the image or from the video, you'll get your answers within Copilot.
That's a really big step forward. You reminded me, actually, I forgot to mention that Copilot now reasons over the meeting chat as well as the audio content, the transcript, which again is a huge win for me. Certainly in a lot of meetings, we end up using chat as kind of a sidebar conversation or noting actions. Now Copilot will take that into account when summarizing as well, which is great. Okay, now on to kind of the star of the show as far as the webinar topic goes. And this is the one that a lot of people don't realize they can take advantage of. So what you're seeing here is a quick demo of someone doing a regular call. So this could be a VoIP call or a PSTN call. In this case, it's a PSTN call. They're starting transcription. So again, don't have to record. They could record the call as well. When you start transcription, it will alert the remote party. It will say this call is being recorded. So there's some transparency there. But then they, just like we talked about in the meeting scenarios, they can engage in the transcript. They can say, what have the customer's questions been so far? Have I covered all the points? And again, at end of call, we get that same type of summary. Alev, anything to add here? I know you've been working with some customers that have been doing this. Maybe you can kind of give us some more real world use cases.
Most of our customer services, help desk colleagues, as well as most of our consuls, child service or protection service, they're actually using Copilot, turning on the transcription, and then just you'll see a video just pre-recorded with Chris. Just copy and paste, see the information or the names are accurate, and then send out the email as a follow-up.
Yeah, it's a huge time saver, particularly in spaces where, you know, like lots of knowledge workers these days revolve around meetings, but lots of roles are much more phone focused, particularly if you're external customer facing. And those can be some of the toughest. You alluded to it earlier, Alev, around I'm dealing with lots and lots of calls. There's lots going on. I'm back to back. Like trying to scribble down notes with pen and paper on a phone call while you're trying to engage with the person on the phone call is just incredibly hard. So knowing that Copilot's got your back for like catching the key details, I've got the full transcript there if I want to go back to it. I've got the recording if I hit record as well. But here's the reality. I mean, I don't know about everybody on the webinar, but how often do you get the time to go back and review a recording or a transcript? You always have the intention, but now with Copilot, you can just get that quick summary, which is really nice.
That's great.
And I think the second slide here shows what this looks like after the call. So again, just like the meeting scenarios, if we go into, in this case, we're in the phone tab, we can go in and we can see, again, providing I recorded or transcribed the call, I can ask Copilot about that call and I can engage with that transcript and get my summary. So it's not just mid-call, it is after call as well. And certainly I try and make it a habit on pretty much all my sessions now to hit that transcribe button because you never know when you're going to need it and then you need it. And I think, Alev, you said awesome. You said earlier as well, like this will work through what we're seeing now, obviously from a Queues app point of view or from call queues and auto attendant, even if you're not using Queues app, those are just PSTN or VoIP calls. So you pick up that benefit of intelligent call recap and Copilot in those scenarios, provided you've got those licenses as well.
Yes, definitely. And if we think about the next video will be about a insurance sales person trying to make a sales about the insurance renewal and just losing time with the taking notes and
yeah, let's have a look.
Thank
you for your help, Chris. It's been an amazing call.
You're welcome, Alev, and thank you once again for choosing XYZ Insurance. Have a great day.
You too, Chris. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Honestly, who needs corporate marketing anymore? Like, check that out. That was a great example of a very real world use case, straight from call to summary to email. That's awesome.
We use Copilot to create our scripts about me just having a car and then just create Chris being an insurance person. And then just we use Teams phone to record the call and then just recap, copy and paste. That's all.
No.
That's amazing. Awesome.
So some of the things that I can mention, these are not under NDA, but we are expecting more announcements during Microsoft Ignite, which is 16th of November. And please do register if you haven't registered yet. We are expecting some capabilities within Teams Admin Center, especially using Copilot with administrative stuff. So, for example, you go on.
No, I'd say that's a really interesting use case. Let's dive into that for a second.
So we don't know the details yet, but as far as we know, you'll be able to use Copilot to list, for example, list me all the Copilot for Microsoft 365 Copilot users. If you create a different set of users, you'll be able to use Copilot to assign licenses. And within my experience, I would presume that you'll be able to create different policies with Microsoft Teams, also assign like phone numbers within just using Copilot. This will remove
really
mundane tasks.
Yeah, to bring AI over the admin interface. And for those, some of us live in Microsoft 365 and understand all the different options in the Teams Admin Center for your typical admin, or maybe someone coming from a phone system. The idea of being able to have an admin assistant AI is really, really exciting. Awesome. We had a couple of questions in the Q&A. Rashid asks, where are the call recaps saved? That's a good question. Is it in the same location as the transcription data?
Yes, it's the transcription data. We only use transcription.
Yeah, and this is hyper well documented. This is one case where the documentation is actually really strong, because obviously when AI comes around, Microsoft get lots and lots of questions around where's the data stored, how is it processed, where is it processed. So do have a look at the docs around this. If you need help, obviously reach out. We can help, or Alev and the Microsoft team can help. But it's very well documented exactly where it is, exactly where the policies are, exactly what's possible. Is it possible to set compliance settings for transcription and recap to keep these only for a definitive amount of time, like days, weeks, or months? Yes, it's definitely possible to do those things.
And you'll be able to use your retention policies. In Microsoft, our default retention policy is 3 months. If you don't keep it, you won't be able to see recap.
Yeah, and that's again an interesting one from a kind of org culture point of view. Microsoft also, the default for meeting recordings is to expire. I think it's 90 days is the default now. Yes. So again, you want to think about that from just a cleanliness and data retention point of view as well. You don't want unnecessary data hanging around forever. And there's a real case to be made as we move into this AI phase of the world. Actually, it's more important than ever to keep the data that is valuable to you and archive or move away the data that isn't, because the better your data stores are, the better these AI tools like Copilot are going to be as well. Can you export as a PDF? That's a good question. I've never tried that. I don't think you can directly. Obviously, you could copy paste into Word and then save as a PDF if you wanted to.
So you can download as TXT or Word documentation. Then you can save that Word documentation as PDF.
Awesome. Tor asked a really good question here. We should definitely clarify. If I don't buy Teams Premium, but we buy M365 Copilot, do we get the intelligent recap for Teams meetings? Yes, you do. Thanks for asking that, because it's an important clarification. So intelligent call recap and intelligent meeting recap comes in Teams Premium, but it also comes in Copilot. So if you just buy Copilot and you don't buy Premium, you still get intelligent meeting recap and intelligent call recap on the basis that you've bought the AI tool, so you get all the AI capabilities. there's a stack of value in Premium beyond that in terms of branding and security and webinar and QZap. But if you just really want the AI features and you're jumping straight to Copilot, you will get those intelligent recaps as well.
Also, you're missing out Microsoft Places with Teams
Oh
Premium.
yeah. So there's one to look out for at Ignite. Places is a really exciting product that's there's going to be some Ignite announcements around. Alev, maybe you could take us through a couple of, you work very closely with customers, like you don't have to name names necessarily, but like where are you seeing customers really drive value from Copilot in Teams and Teams Phone?
Definitely generating meeting notes. So some of our customers are highly regulated, and they before Copilot, they were actually disabling the transcription because the way they're stored, because they didn't want to have like a leakage. But as soon as they purchased Copilot for Microsoft 365, they turned on the transcription. This is where it's mostly used, besides just creating a documentation or transforming a Word or PDF into a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too. I think like meeting recap is one of those killer features. We're all in too many meetings. It's hard to keep up. So that ability to get those recaps both automatically and intelligently for recap is really, you start to rely on it, don't you?
It's game changer. With 2 features, I can actually save up to 90 minutes a day. So I am aligned with 30 customers, and sometimes I am triple or quadruple booked with either Microsoft internal calls, or sometimes customer calls can be conflict with them. So I don't know if you used follow button. Have you seen follow button?
No, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Let's talk us through that. What is that? What's the use case?
So if you are using new Outlook or Outlook on the web, when you receive an invitation, back in the days, you only see yes, maybe, no as a response. Now you see yes, maybe, no, follow. When you click the follow button, this means that the co-organizer or the co-organizer of that Teams meeting will get notified by Alev is following this meeting. Please turn on the transcription and the recording. This means that if I'm triple or quadruple booked, I can prioritize my meetings with my customers because they are the most important thing for me. And then I can use Copilot in Teams to just generate meeting notes. If I couldn't join to that meeting, I will be still able to use Copilot because I'm following that meeting. I can just, am I mentioned in this call, do I have a follow-up task? This means that I can just spend my time with my customer and use Copilot in 10 minutes to catch up 60 minutes of meeting. Sometimes they just need to be an email and not a meeting.
Yeah, that's an amazing feature. I must check that out actually because I haven't used that yet. So I could do with not attending a meeting and just getting a summary in some cases. Awesome. Well, we've got to 40 past. Happy to answer any more questions, but appreciate everybody taking the time. Hopefully we've helped you understand what you get in Teams Core, how you add phone to Teams and those various connectivity options. And again, that's where Pure IP can really help you out. Long-time operator connect provider, direct routing, managed SBC, all those options. Happy to talk to you about that, but also the wider team story and how you can drive value out of Teams with things like QZap, integrating contact center, integrating compliance recording, and of course, adding these AI capabilities. I think the exciting thing about Teams Phone at the moment is there's a real compelling reason. If you're going into Copilot, you really want to bring your phone calls into that workflow. It's going to be disruptive to have amazing ability to do Copilot in meetings, but then I can't do that same capability on my phone. So you want to bring all that experience to users and kind of maximize the value, I think. Alev, any last thoughts to leave people with? Any calls to action?
Yes, one thing that I can actually answer the question. Yes, we know that we are not able to provide any trial license for Microsoft 365 Copilot, but you can trial Teams Premium. We have deployment guides. We can provide you some kind of assistance with the pilots. Just let us know.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We'll ping around the recording afterwards. If you've got any questions that we didn't cover in the session, feel free to reach out directly off the back of that, or reach out directly. You know where we are. And yeah, thanks again, Alev, for taking the time out. Really great to do the webinar with you. Appreciate your time and expertise. And we'll see everybody on the next one.
Thanks, Tom. Always a pleasure.
Thanks so much.